here we are, episode 5.
That feels like such a big number.
Yeah, I know. They're going to go to kindergarten.
Right.
We're going to, send them out of the house to school. We're learning together. It's fun.
Our episodes and podcasts are all grown up.
I know, they're growing up. It's going to be weird when we hit double digits here. Mm-hmm. Well, welcome to the Emotional Support Podcast. Emotional Support Penguins Podcast.
Yes,
there we
yes.
go. We offer encouragement for your week because sometimes you need to stop, drop, reset and waddle on out to reset your week. Just a little bit of emotional support and some encouragement here. We've been having fun. I don't know about you guys, but the nice weather came out and I felt like I had a reset. It was like my soul levitated above my body, and blessings were poured down upon our family.
I was speaking to my sister-in-law and I said I felt like a wilted flower that finally got watered and set into the sunlight because I literally just
turned into the sun.
I got outside. It was warm. I put sunglasses on. It was so rejuvenating.
Yeah, I don't know where you are in the world or when you're listening to this, but for us over this past weekend, it was really nice. It was in the 70s. So we took our son, he's one, out into town and got some coffee, played some Pokemon Go, and it was really rejuvenating.
Yes.
And it really, really ties into this week's topic, which is
self-care.
Self-care. And sometimes self-care can be like a buzzword,
Yeah.
It can be like, oh, this is my self-care. And some people can use it in a toxic way. Be like, don't deal with me. I almost went to a Valley Girl
You
voice.
did.
I don't want to be negative or stereotypical, but it's like, don't mess with me right now. I'm doing my self-care.
Wow.
Which is, I didn't want to be negative there, but the idea, anybody can do it where they're they kind of weaponize their self-care. But what is self-care? You want to have a definition of that?
I also, before we go into it, okay. I want to point out that I feel like self-care is one of those things that you hear all the time and you're like, I know, and then you move on and you don't actually do it because you've heard it so many times in your life that you're like, okay, I get it. That's great, but it doesn't work for me. But did you actually try? Did you put an actual effort in it? We are
very conscious,
normal humans. We have no agenda, and this is us saying that self-care helps us tremendously. And I know it will help you too if you find the pieces in self-care that can help.
You have to prioritize it. If you don't put it on the schedule, it probably won't happen. So that's something to start.
Absolutely.
Before we even define it. So the Merriam-Webster version, let me read this here. Defines self-care as the act of caring for oneself. Thanks, Sherlock. So that may seem like super simple, but it's nothing more than taking care of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. There's 4 categories on the internet. There might be as much as 8 self-care categories.
We're
going to really focus on 3, with the 4th being spiritual. And Mando was saying, sometimes you hear spiritual and you're like, ooh, I'm not religious, Joel, so that's not for me. But it's farther reaching than that. It's about some more things of that, and we'll get into that in a bit. But the National Institute of Mental Health talks about self-care meaning to take time to do things that help you live well and improve both your physical health and mental health. So these have actual medical benefits.
Yes.
Like managing stress, lowering your risk of illness, increasing your energy levels. So small self-care acts can go a long way for a big impact for your future.
That's what I was going to say. It doesn't need to be some grand thing. It can be something really small, 5 minutes a day, just something that you enjoy. It's not, you're not figuring out anything. It's just, this is something I enjoy and I enjoy, and I want to actively focus on it and participate in it. This brings joy.
So the 3 main ones are physical, mental, and emotional. What can be some physical examples of self-care?
Well, I mean, for me personally, we talk about it all the time as my dance class.
Yeah.
I feel better if my body is moving. And I also get trapped in I want to sit on the couch and watch TV all day. So even though I know that moving my body and dancing makes me happy, it doesn't mean that I actively choose to do it daily. Yeah. So I joined a dance class.
Yeah.
That then I have an obligation. I have other people that are holding me accountable. And that is part of the way that I was able to put it in there, because guys, without accountability, I don't do great.
Also, this is a triple whammy here, because that's not only a physical one because you're moving your body, it's also a mental and emotional one because we have a 1-year-old son who's very attached to her. So having a single time where you're out by yourself, getting to be an adult by yourself with other adults.
And talk to other adults.
Is very mentally and emotionally supportive thing. And so I see that. She comes back, more fulfilled. That's a task that she gets to mark off her list. Having little goals that you accomplish are a huge self-care thing. I know some people are like, oh, I hate lists, whatever. But just simply getting out of bed and taking a shower, going and down and brushing your teeth, eating breakfast, setting goals for yourself every day, and just accomplishing a task is huge for your mental health.
Yeah.
Huge. That's self-care right there. So other ones for physical could be like drinking water, going on a walk, exercising. I've just started exercising again a little bit. I streamed the other day, a little workout stream, which was fun because that's both mental and physical for me because I get to connect with people on a stream while I'm working out. But working out and running has always been something that has been a good physical one for me. And it's been so cold, so dreary, so I haven't done any running.
So rainy
especially.
rain.
But now it's nicer, so I've been taking a lot of walks with my son, which is another one thing, and he loves it.
Even just stepping into fresh air can be rejuvenating.
Yeah.
You don't even have to go anywhere. If you can just step outside, go get your mail or, walk into your backyard for a second if you can't get out and go do things.
A negative thing, I love working from home, and I think it's great, but one negative thing that can happen is then you turn into a little hermit goblin and are just in your office, or it's even worse, like, if your computer's in your bedroom and then you just don't leave your one room all day.
Right.
And you're like, oh, this is great. I don't need to get out of bed to do work.
Yeah.
But then you are in your bed for 10, 12 hours a day, and then you're out for a couple hours, and then you go back to sleep. And so that really can be taxing on your mental health because you're not accomplishing things. Your muscles are atrophying. You're not getting any movement. You're not getting any endorphins, and your body's not producing the things that help your mental health.
Right.
It's an actual physical endorphin thing that you need those things. And so physical, just get up and move, set an alarm. People have Apple Watches that are like, you got to move now. And some people hate it. I think it's bad, but it's really good. Like, sometimes if maybe you have a standing desk and you move it up for a couple minutes a day. Just little things that you do. But like she said, just walking outside and putting your face in the sun for 5 minutes. I saw a really cute TikTok that a dad and his son, I think he's 3, do daily affirmations before breakfast out on the deck. And the deck faces the sun. So they stand and face the sun and they're like, I am strong, I am good, and they just stare into the sun with daily affirmations. Like that's physical because you're getting the sun, and then also mental and emotional. So we talked a little bit. What are some other examples of self-care that you get to do for yourself?
I will say, other than the dance, we all know I love Minecraft. I'm a very artsy person, and so I love to paint. I love to draw. I did journaling and scrapbooking, all kind of different seasons in my life where these different artsy type things all came together. Minecraft is really fun for me because I can kind of roll them into one, and it's made it easier for like having a baby because I can get into it. I can do all of these things. And if he wakes up just in a absolute screaming mood, I am not panic cleaning. I can just hit stop,
close the laptop
and go get him. I don't have to worry about putting away paints. So that has been one of the harder ones is when I am painting and having to like try to panic, get it up because he's, into everything. Into grabbing. Yeah.
And that's like a mental and emotional because it's stimulating your mind, getting you actively thinking creatively,
exactly,
and artistically. So that's a mental thing, but then it's emotional because it's encouraging you and doing that.
And I get to do it with you and with friends,
Yeah.
and so you get that piece of connection too.
Yeah.
So it's great for me.
And then obviously we stream it.
Yeah.
And I keep encouraging her to, post some more videos of her builds. Every time I stream and she's not streaming, people are like, oh my gosh, look at that build. Oh my gosh, look at that thing. And then it's hers. And so I'm like, you gotta do some videos, get those out there. So what does it look like to have a spiritual self-care?
So like you mentioned, people hear spiritual and they go either straight to religion or they go straight to thinking about like meditation or yoga. And those are both those are awesome examples. But really what it really kind of comes down to is your core values and, your strengths and weaknesses, which we have talked about, and just being honest and compassionate with yourself.
Yeah.
So that your spiritual, who you are on the inside and where you connect.
Yeah. And some of those things can be like meditation, doing yoga.
Yeah.
Or finding a religious group to be involved in, a church or some type of small group that you can meet with.
Prayer, scripture.
Yeah, to really increase those things. It can be incredibly helpful. I know faith groups can be very encouraging, especially if you're going through something hard, loss or change of life circumstances can be incredibly hope-giving and life-giving.
Yeah.
So that's something that we really encourage people to explore and look into. If that's something that you might be interested in. We're always open to talk about things like that. That's something that I've had throughout my life, and I'm passionate about it. I love to talk about, and so if that's something feel free to message us. We'll talk to you more about it. But some other self-care things that we do, something that's been really fun. So the past month or so, we've had our son in daycare some days a week, and we get to have little coffee dates.
Yeah.
So the coffee, one of our favorite coffee shops, is just a few minutes out of the way on the way back from dropping off our son in the morning. So get up early, get our son to daycare, and then on the way back, we take this Doge, a little doggy dog who's zonked with us. And he gets a little pup cup, and we get some coffee.
And we don't just grab it and go. We don't go through a drive-through. We don't go, we sit down inside with each other. Even if it's 20
minutes.
And just...
it's just a nice, quiet time in there. We've met some new friends there now, which is fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a way for us to kind of like check in with each other, see how we're doing, and just kind of, kick our feet around. And
a lot of the time now we've turned it into brainstorming for the podcast too.
Yeah, it's a good way
a
quiet moment to kind of together just to talk about things that are could be about our son, but about anything, which is super fun. So,
and it's outside of our house. It's outside of the norm. It's outside of this kind of schedule that we fall into day to day to keep, life rolling. And so, yeah.
So some other scheduled things that we do for self-care, Amanda, you have one on the list that you schedule monthly.
I do a massage.
Yeah.
So Joel, when I was pregnant, I don't know if, I know many of you probably didn't see me, but I was a balloon. I was very big and I swelled up my legs and everything. And so it was a lot. It was hard on my body. So Joel sent me to a prenatal massage and it was fantastic. I would go once a month and I went until I physically couldn't go anymore. I just, and I think that was only like maybe the last month or so before. And then I started going again.
Just schedule them again once a month.
Yeah, once a month. And it's really, really nice. It's really
just a little reset for your
helpful.
Month. Yeah. Just kind of the body reset, physical, and then obviously, that's another emotional type of thing because it's uplifting, it's encouraging, it's out of the house, it's something on the list.
And Ronan is heavy, you guys. Like I have pinched nerves in my shoulder from holding who is now a 30-pound 14-month-old up and down stairs and carrying him everywhere. So your back goes through it when you're not used to toting around all of this extra weight.
I have a more regulatory one that I do if I start seeing some wear and tear on my body. I go to more of a deep tissue chiropractic type of massage. Whereas like 20 minutes and they're just like to me, and then like, yep, that's back into place now, you know. So mine is a more of a almost like a physical therapy type one that I have not a great shoulder, a couple things in my lower back issue, and so if I see like, oh yeah, I tweaked my back this week, maybe I should every other month or every third month I'll go check in with that one. Less of a spa time and more of a corrective type of help. And also a preventative thing for the future too, just to make sure that I'm doing that. And that's what eating well and exercising are two things that are so helpful for your future.
And I know this is really honing in on the ones that you guys were like glazing over. I've heard this a million times. I know. Eat well, exercise. Yeah. It does help. I'm with you. Okay. Yeah. I am with you. It is hard to motivate and do these things, especially like if you're cooking for a family and half your family doesn't eat healthy and refuses to eat. So we understand the struggle. We understand that it's not always easy, but if you can sneak it in one meal a day, do a little healthier. You know what I mean? If you can, take a little walk, convince everybody that you're doing something that's not like go geocaching or
something that's fun.
Something
fun.
Like
I said, we like to do Pokemon Go. That gets us out. We're walking. We'll do like 3 miles of walking in an afternoon and not even realize it because we're just sipping our coffie, pushing our stroller, and just catching mons with the other hand and walking around the sidewalks and stuff like that. But diet and exercise are so important. When I was at my like least, lowest spot and going to therapy, one of the things that my therapist did was set goals for me. And the number one goal he set for me was to eat well and to exercise. And that was like the first goal that I could set for myself. Like, okay, I'm going to start lifting again 3 days a week. I'm going to start going on runs once or twice a week. And the amount of mental, physical, and emotional self-care that happened from that immediately set me on a path within the first like 2 weeks that was changing the trajectory of my life. And just those little things that setting goals and doing them are so helpful. Yeah. And it helps with that positive self-talk too, because when we get into, I just saw a thing, rumination, or the big word here with therapy. But rumination, when you ruminate on something, you're like, oh man, I ate poorly. I'm frustrated that I ate poorly. I ate that 5th piece of pizza I didn't want to. And then, that's me. I do that all the time. I'll eat a whole pizza and then feel bad about it. But when you ruminate on things and you get frustrated, like, oh man, I can't believe I said that. Or then you start spiraling and then you get on this negative pathway. And so the idea of self-care then is that if you're going for a run or if you're going for a walk or if you're eating well or you're doing these positive things, you don't have time to have that rumination on those dark things. You know what I mean? You're setting yourself up for success and towards a positive thing. And then those positive endorphins, your physical, it start to be better. Just having those self-care things are just going to help bring you into a good schedule.
You guys, I have an app. I have an actual app on my phone. It's called Decision Roulette. It's a roulette wheel, and I can put in things that I want to do into it. So I can put in, like, for me, part of my mental well-being is if there is an area that I am working in or doing things in and it's overly cluttered, my brain also gets cluttered and I'm like, wah, and I can't do it. So I'm not a neat freak by any means. Like, believe me, I'm messy. I'm artsy, so I'm messy. But I get to a point where that's a thing. And Decision Roulette has been a really fun way because it like checks off a list. You physically see it. And then I always give myself like a reward. So if, like, for instance, our kitchen pantry right now really needs to be like pulled apart and just like reorganized, if I want to do that and something else, I'll put them on the roulette wheel, I'll spin it, and then whenever I've finished one of those tasks, I'm like, okay, great, what's something you really love? You get 30 minutes of Minecraft, and I will stop what I'm doing after I finish this and go do Minecraft. So I'm literally helping my mental health by doing those kind of self-care things that I know make me really happy. Yeah. And in turn, it's helping my mental health because of what I did in the first place, I know will, in the long run, make me feel better.
Something that I just started a couple weeks ago was guitar lessons. Yeah. So I've noodled and played guitar, 12 plus years. But I've not really stuck with it past just knowing like the major chords, the major open chords. And so I've been working on all kinds of things, and it's just like an online program that I have daily lessons that I'm doing, and then I have to like submit little performances and stuff like that to have someone give feedback and things like that. But that's accountability. That's another thing about self-care, like having someone else that's kind of checking in with it.
Yeah.
That's accountability, and then I'm paying money. So, you know, and then I'm like, I'm going to do this so that I can set it up.
Yeah.
But little things that are on the schedule that you are doing, those things to have check them off the list, and then it really is making a positive impact. So any other ones that examples of self-care? A very simple one. Drink your water.
Yeah.
Take your medicine.
I thought he was going to say naps. I thought that's what was coming.
I do.
He loves his naps.
You don't have to be a napper, but I am a napper. There's a book, Daniel Pink, When. It's the scientific timing of things. I forget the name of the exact title of the book. You don't have to read the whole book, but it's called a nappuccino that he coined this term. And I'll just be like, nappuccino. I just text her. And I set a timer on my phone for 30 minutes. I drink a cup of coffee or like part of an energy drink or something like that, and then I go to sleep. And if you are trained in a nap expert like I am over the years, you can get yourself to fall asleep within like 2 minutes. There's a whole thing in that, like circadian rhythm, etc. Don't want to get into the science of it,
right?
But for me, if you can train yourself to nap well, it's so for me that's self-care. Like it rejuvenates my brain. I get a brain fog around like 2-3 in the afternoon, and that just resets the day. And the science of it is that caffeine takes about 30 minutes to kick into your bloodstream. So if you drink the coffee or whatever caffeine source, just like 8 ounces right before you go to sleep, you wake up, you don't have that fog of waking up from a nap, and 30 minutes, anything past 30 minutes, you start going into a deep sleep. So it's just a light sleep, clear out some of that brain fog, and move on to the day. That's a self-care thing that I love. I probably nap 3 to 5 times a week. So
yeah, he is a napper. He is
even
a
if
napper.
it's just like literally on the couch, like just closed eyes for 10 minutes.
I'm not trained in the skills of napping. I've never been a napper. My family has never been nappers, so it's just not a thing for me. But what I can do is just sit in silence by myself and just recharge. And a lot of times not having any type of external input is just more than enough to recharge for me, and that is so important. Like I love people. I love being with people. I love talking to people. I also love being completely alone. You're like, it's just
the ambivert, like a mix of introverted and extrovert.
The most extroverted introvert ever. You know, I definitely do both. And one, like, you know, having that time to myself is very necessary for me to then be able to give the best version of myself to other people.
Yeah. And I think that's the whole point of self-care is that, you know, if we want to be a light, if we want to be a help to other people, it's the pouring out of the cup analogy. You know, if we don't have anything in our cup, we're just pouring out an empty cup. There's nothing there. And so we have to have self-care to pour that into ourselves, and really fill ourselves up first, and then be able to do that. So if I'm going to be the best husband, father, friend, you know, uncle, brother, etc., coworker, you know, then I need to love myself well, encourage myself, make those self goals. And start today. It could be something simple. Like maybe you've been wanting to take a shower and you just don't want to get out of bed. Like go take a shower, like a little self-care thing. If you can, just one little step a day, and then start scheduling in a couple things. Put on, if you have a note keeping app, put it on there and check it off. It feels great just to have something checked off your list. Literally, maybe it's make your bed. And I don't make my bed, but some people, this is what they need to do. And I've heard this before, where it's like, that's one thing off your list in the morning immediately that you have done,
that you did,
that you accomplished. Self-care. Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
That's another type of self-care. It's called retail self-care.
Oh.
And, you know, sometimes it's just treating yourself. Maybe you had something in your Amazon wish list for, you know, months and you haven't bought it. This is something that I have to not yell out, but highly encourage Manda. She'll have something that she
myself.
needs for herself. And this isn't even like treating yourself. This
like
is,
deodorant.
you need this thing. But you just like trying to get by because you're like, oh, I need to buy this for Ro. I need to buy this for the house or whatever. I'm like, I'm buying it for you. You'll buy it for yourself. Like,
please do this.
Because this is something that's going to be helpful to yourself. So those little things that it's just, fun. And sometimes it's just going out for a coffee or one of my times, another self-care thing that I did when I was really down, I would just go to Target and I would just walk around Target. I would get a coffee and just walk Target. I wouldn't even buy anything, but I'd be like, oh, cool, new Star Wars toys. Oh, cool, like new video games are out. And just in like seeing people, not even like interacting with people, but just being out of the house and walking around. It was life-giving. It was so silly. Just getting out of the house, driving to a place, getting a coffee, and just walking around. It's good for physical, emotional, mental, spiritual health, like all of them mixed in. Just a little trip.
It's just getting over that threshold of like that initial, I don't want to do or do what it takes to get to this thing or to do, once you just get past that little bump. I've never regretted it. Right. There's been several times where I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this thing, or I don't want to go to this place, or I don't want to. And then I do it and I never regret it. I'm like, that was a great idea.
Well, we'd love to hear from you all. If there's some self-care things that you do, we'd love to hear
something
different things.
We didn't mention.
Yeah. Well, it was something we didn't mention. Yeah. We'd love to hear from you from that. And once again, we always love hearing your ideas. We got some great ideas sent to us this past week.
Yeah.
So we have a OneNote drive of a bunch of ideas that
quickly filling. It's great.
That's awesome. And so we have some backlogs of things to get into here. But thank you so much. Anything else to add, Amanda?
No, I just think you guys should know that you're worth all of this.
Yes.
You're worth the effort it takes to be the best version of yourself. And if anything, from all of our podcasts, like that's why we're here. That's why we do this with you, because we want you to know that you are important and worth it. And we want you to be happy and feel fulfilled in life.
Yeah. I want you to see you thrive and to be able to not just get by in life. I feel like I spent too many years just like getting by. And so we want that best for you. That I hate I don't know, visit Tony Robbins, the best version of you. I don't know, like we're not here to be a self-help hotline, but just to be able to help yourself out and move to be the best person you can be.
Absolutely.
So you were loved, you matter, and you have so much value. We love you guys. Thanks for listening to the Emotional Support Penguins podcast. And we'll check you all in the next episode.